Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the DTB podcast, the #1 barber podcast on YouTube and of the world. Today we have a special guest all the way from the city of Los Angeles. But before I introduce him, I want to pass it up to my co-host.
What's up, my barber fam? This is co-host KO, and today we got a special guest, el más buscado de Los Angeles. We got Gtcutz in the house. Let's go.
Let's go.
Thank you guys for having me, man. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, thank you for taking your time and coming over here, GT. So, real quick, how did you get that name, GT?
Man, it's actually a pretty funny story. Some people think that's my initial, but my name is actually Raymond Larios. It has nothing to do with GT. Like, I used to have a car that was a Mustang GT, and like most men, we fall in love with our cars, you know? So making an Instagram account, I was like, damn, like, I don't know what to make. All the good names are taken up. So out of love for my car at the time, I don't even have that no more. I have a Camaro. Yeah, out of love of that car, I'm like, you know what? Gtcutz. Like, everybody has cuts at the end. So I'm like, Gtcutz. I'm like, I'll change it later, you know? I was just trying to make my Instagram account back in like 2012, I think, 2014. And it just stick. Like, people at barber school, they didn't call me by my name. Everybody remembered me as Gtcutz because I gave my Instagram out so much. Nobody was calling me by my name, and I'm like, fuck it, I'll leave it as that, you know? I'll leave it like that, and it just stayed.
So how long do you have cutting hair, and how was that experience, like, becoming a barber in Los Angeles, bro? Because I feel like you became a barber in Los Angeles when barbering was still hadn't reached its peak, but everybody knew you. So you were one of the few that people, hey, who you cut your hair with? Oh, I cut my hair with GT. Oh, you don't know GT? So how was that journey of yours when you started cutting hair, and how long do you have cutting hair?
So I was first introduced by haircutting from my mom. My mom, she was a Cosmo. So I was a child when she was cutting hair. I would just watch her. She would bring in customers to the house, you know, and I'll see that she'll have like really fun time doing it. She was getting paid for it. Later on, like during middle school, like around 2006, all my friends started getting lineups and tapers and stuff like that, or pointy sideburns. And I wanted that too. I'm like, I feel like I know how to do that to myself just because I've seen my mom, like, you know, line up people, you know, stuff like that. I'm like, let me go ahead and try it out, you know? And I'm like, let me just do it when she's not around, because she didn't want me to have that. Like, a lot of, at the time, people had a bad review. Like, most cholos had it like that. So I was like, bro, yeah, a lineup, bro. Like, something simple like that. I'm like, Mom, I'm not a cholo, man.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get a lineup, you know? Anyways, I tried it myself. I took a long time. I took I think 30 minutes. I think, just trying to figure out, like, you know, how to do it.
You know what that story reminds me, bro, of when I was a little kid. I went to go get a haircut, and they did me a lineup, and I fell in love with it. The second time I did, they're like, no, we can't take you there because it's too expensive. So they took me to some lady, bro, and then didn't do my lineup. So I get home, bro, and I start doing my own lineup, but with the razor, though. Bro. Oh, with the razor. Right. And I start going in, and then I remember I'm already going to church, and then some hermano, as a little kid, I didn't process it in the moment, but some hermano told me, like, damn, who did your lineup? And I'm just like, me, why? Like, okay. But when I got home and I reanalyzed it, bro, my lineup was really, really high.
I've been through there before. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have. A lot of barbers that are starting off, I'm sure they've been through that, where they practice on themselves, because
it was straight, though. Like, the lineup was straight. It was just too high, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was just too high.
Yeah, when I practiced it on myself, bro, it came out really good. And all my homeboys, I'm like, I'm not even gonna tell them that I did it myself, because what if it looks bad to them? I don't want them to roast me. So I got to the school the next day. This is, like I said, this was like around 6th grade. Everybody was like, hell yeah, bro, like, that thing is straight. And at some point, I'm like, okay, I did it, you know, since everybody was giving me credit. They were like, dude, me too. And So I practiced on all my homeboys like around 6th grade, just because I felt like I was good at
Sixth
it.
grade?
6th grade, yeah. And I didn't even know, but I was getting better at it. And I practiced it through all middle school. Finally, I got to high school, and I was still doing it, but I was already doing other things. I was doing tapers, you know. I was telling my homeboys like, hey, you know what? Like, I'm getting a lot of people to. I'm cutting up a lot of you guys already, and I got a girlfriend already. I need some money, you know.
Yeah.
So like around 10th grade, around 9th grade, I started charging them like $5 or $10. If they wanted designs, it was 10. If they wanted a regular haircut, it was 5. So
But at that point, what designs are you doing right there?
I was doing like just like
the 2
double lineups. Do you remember those?
Oh my god.
Yeah. I remember
Okay, that was like really popular. And then those 2 lines on the side.
Bro, look, it was popular, but
Stars.
I looked back at one of my clients that had that. It would look really bad, bro. It looked bad, bro.
It's
When it
crazy.
was-
I
when it was
used to
growing
get
up.
a double lineup on my beard, bro.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It was
I've done one of those.
Just
Yeah.
it just
I've
looks different. It doesn't look as bad as the whole head, you know. But on the beard alone, I thought it used to look dope. Probably like idiot, you know. But it was just like some of the styles that were really in.
That were trending
you know,
a lot.
that were really trending back in the day. So run us through kind of. You're in 6th grade now. You mentioned you're in 10th grade, right?
Mm-hmm.
No barber school yet.
No barber school yet, yeah.
Because barber school, you could only start at like 16 years old or something like
Yeah.
that at this point. No barber school, lineups are getting better, tapers, now you're doing designs.
Mm-hmm.
What is your mom saying about all this?
Well, at the beginning, since it was not popular in men to like cut hair, it was mainly like women, to be honest with you. It was unisex salons. It was not a barbershop. Like in around 2010, it was most people went to unisex places.
Correct.
So basically they just didn't approve of me. Like they didn't like the idea of me possibly working in one of those places. So it was just not a thing. So they were like, nah, you better just go to college, you know? Do this for fun and go to college. I'm like, shit. Around 10th grade, I got in trouble by the janitor because I didn't sweep one day.
Damn.
And he was like, you can't cut here no more at the school. 'Cause I was cutting during lunch and nutrition and after school. I went at a barbershop in Broadway and Florence here in LA. And they gave me a chance, but they said 50% commission. And I lasted there like for a little bit.
What was that, like $10 or you'll keep 5 or what?
Yeah. The haircuts were $10.
You're still in 10th grade, or this is
I'm still
already
in 10th grade.
At 10th grade, and you know, or like, you know what, I'm gonna go walk to the barbershop and ask them if I can work there.
I went to so many. I actually had my dad drive me around a bunch of places. I'm like, hey, like I'll work low key, like, you know, I'll work in days that you guys want me to. Like, I just want to work somewhere because like I have customers now, and I don't want to take all of them to my house.
Yeah.
And because I didn't have nothing set up, you know.
So you go with Don Roberto? Or
I
you
went
said
to
Broadway and Florence?
Yeah, I first started in Broadway and Florence. It was a ladies salon.
Uh-huh.
And then I went to Don Roberto right after, like a month after. I moved right there because I just
That shop was popping for us, like in high school.
It was next to Fremont High School.
Yeah, you'll be like Don Roberto. Everybody.
Yeah. So I worked there. Don Roberto actually gave me a pretty good commission. He took only 30. I kept 70%, and then I'll get paid at the end of every week. And then I learned a lot in his shop. But after high school, I just started going to a bunch of barbershops. It's because LA you can't be consistent in one place just because of the neighborhoods, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes even though you just want to work and that's it, like the neighborhoods, like they might not make it easy for you.
Yeah.
You know?
So what made you leave Don Roberto? Like what was that? After you worked there for a couple of years, how long were you there?
I was there from 10th grade to 12th grade, so like 2 years. Yeah.
So what made you leave? Like you're like, oh,
I left because I finally started driving. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna look for other shops. I can drive around now. Like, you know, that shop was close to my house. So I just started driving around, and I found other spots. I still kept moving because of the same situations. I joined barber school in 2014, and I got my license the year after.
Okay.
What school was that? What school did you attend when you went to barber school?
International Academy of Barbering. It was right there in Southgate. Yeah.
Southgate.
Yeah, so I was there. Yeah, it was a really good time in Southgate. Mike Ortiz from Under the Blade, he was one of the teachers right there as well. Even though he was my homeboy, I used to work with him in Florence and San Pedro.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I used to
Michael
work.
T, that's Pin Stop, right?
Pin Stop, yeah.
Pin Stop,
Yeah.
yeah, that's true. That's true. That's
He was
very
one of the
true.
instructors right there, and since I worked with him for that time I was in Florence and San Pedro, I'm like, man, like I could probably get a break. Heck no, Mike showed like he was like, okay, you just another student, you know, you're my boy, like during lunch and after school, but you're another student, you gotta get all this done, you know, you gotta get all this done, and I'm not gonna help you out. And he didn't tell me that, but he showed it, like, you know, when I'll take tests, he'd be like, bro, you failed this test. come back another time and, you know, take this test again. And well, that was good because it made me, you know, made me really good at everything that had me do at barber school.
So it's 2014 and you're in school. Where are you working at?
At the time, because there was a barbershop nearby, it used to be called Gtcutz in Southgate. It was right across the street from International, but now it's called, I think it's called Villains. So at that shop, there was really good barbers. At least in my eyes, they were like really good barbers that they just got down with designs. They had a bunch of customers. The only problem was that since I'm not from Southgate, I couldn't attract customers like that. Everybody was established. Everybody that came in already had somebody they were going to. And I was still not really good at social media, so I was not able to attract people. So I was working in Southgate. That was the only city that I worked outside of LA. It didn't work out for me. I moved right back to LA. Like,
So where do you go to after that?
Why'd you leave LA though? Like, you just felt the convenience of going to school and just working right across the
Exactly.
street? That was just a convenience move for you, and you figured it didn't work out, so you're back in LA, and you joined what shop?
I joined a barbershop in Avalon and Manchester.
Avalon in Manchester.
It was a bunch of shops that I actually joined right
Right
after
there
that.
with Cisco?
Yeah, with Cisco.
Cisco,
That's where I
yeah.
met Cisco. That shop, yeah, it was like around 2015. Around there.
Okay.
Yeah, so after that, I moved to like 3 or 4 other barbershops.
And it was just move after move.
Yeah.
It just move, like it just things were in click, or it would just be neighborhood issues, like, you know, maybe breaking into your car and you were just tired of it, or you just felt like, you know, it was too dangerous to get out of the barbershop on a really busy day, have your pockets full of money and walk into your car, probably in danger of getting robbed or something like that? Or is that kind of like the motive that had you jumping off from barber to barbershop, or you just weren't happy at certain places?
Well, it was a mixture of things. Well, it was a mixture of things. Like sometimes the barbershop owners, they were just not organized. Like I can just tell that they just opened the shop just because they had the money, and well, there was just not a lot of passion. I had a lot of passion on cutting hair. I treated the barbershop like it was my home. I would clean up after myself. I would, you know, talk to walk-ins and you know, direct them to a bar. Like, if I would treat every barbershop like if it was my barbershop, just out of love for the game, you know?
Yeah.
And I just felt like, you know, the way I carried myself wouldn't fit. Not that I was good enough for them. I just felt like, you know, I just got to keep moving on because I'm not going to learn nothing here.
Yeah. You had a vision, right? I think what
Yeah.
it sounds like to me is that you had a vision and you would work at these barbershop and you would give it your all, but you still
would.
wouldn't get nothing back like
Yeah.
that. And it wouldn't make you feel happy, it wouldn't make you feel comfortable. So you were finding the sweet spot for yourself to continue in your career right now, right?
Definitely, bro. And I just felt like I had a lot of fire. Like when I got out of barber school, it was like a lot of fire in me, like in a good way. Like I was so energized. Like I'm like, I gotta keep getting better. I gotta just do whatever is the newest things that are coming out. But when I moved back to LA, I felt stagnant. I was going up, and then I just it just tapered off. I lost my motivation at some point, you know, because
It became more of a routine, huh? Just wake
it became
up,
more of a
cut
routine,
hair,
yeah.
go home.
And it was up until the last barbershop that I was working in before we opened Gtcutz, that I worked with a few barbers that were young, and I feel like working with young barbers, people that are younger than me, reminded me of why it is important. No, well, they brought that fire back in me that I was
why you started cutting hair,
yeah.
right?
Because all these guys, and I remember it was a few young guys that I would speak to a lot, like Miguel Blends from our shop, the Holy Barber. He's currently in with Western Barber.
Western, yeah.
What city is that?
Hollywood.
Okay, he's in Hollywood right now. These are the two guys that like I will see them talking a lot about, the barber industry, and I'm like, man, like these guys remind me when I first started.
Yeah.
But then again, they made me realize like, yo, like I want to be back there, I want to be back there. Like so, I felt like I lost love for barbering for a few years up until I got back in that shop because I met these guys and these guys were talking about, everything that's going on, and I'm like, I want to be back.
They're
in
talking
that.
about like brands, machines,
Haircuts,
haircuts.
barbers, expos, and I'm like, let's go ahead and do that. And they had a lot. We always used to have really good conversations regarding work, and they, they brought that spark that I needed, and then 3 years after Gtcutz, it was finally found.
What was the mindset behind that when you were planning it?
Man, so based on everything was, the mindset was like a lot of LA barbers. Sometimes, it's easy for us not to be passionate on cutting hair. Like we start cutting hair and we just do it for the money. I feel that because a lot of things that are going on, it's really easy to get distracted and to make money some other kind of way. My mindset was like I have to open a place where barbers can just be barbers without all the extra stuff, without the drinking, without the smoking, without the anything that has nothing to do with barbering. Because there's a lot of serious people that they start off really good and then they end up like, you're like, what happened to that guy?
They end up selling dope.
Yeah, so they end up somewhere. They end up somewhere else. I'm like, damn, that guy was so good.
Yeah.
And I'm like, now
I think because there was no guidance, bro.
Exactly.
Because I kind of know a little bit of your story. And growing up in LA, the barber owners, like you say, they just opened the shop because they had the money. But it was never in their best interest to help the barbers grow. They're just like, as long as I could get a barber behind that booth and he's paying me my commission and my brews, everything else, I don't really care. And the reason I'm saying this because when I came to GT's shop, I remember that, I don't know if you remember, but in the beginning, anything that will tell GT, like, hey, GT, we need towels. Oh, you need towels? What kind of towels? Okay, yeah, I'll bring you tomorrow. Hey, GT, I noticed this. Oh, you need an extension cord? I'll go get you the extension cord. Like, he was, hey, you need this? I'll go get this. So I asked myself, like, I wonder why GT is like this. But then it is like right now we're getting clarity is because all the shops that we were at, we saw all the mistakes they were doing. And now I feel like right now that you open your shop, you're like, I don't want to do those mistakes
Yeah,
anymore.
definitely. I felt like there's a lot, like I was telling you, there's a lot of barbers that are very serious and they just want a serious place to work at and continue their barbering practicing, like, getting better, just being the best barber they can be without all the extra stuff, And that was the mindset going in there. That was the mindset and that was the plan. That we just want people that are from LA to be the barber that, they see on Instagram, like those, good barbers. And anybody that will want to be, anybody that's outside of LA that will want to even work with us, that's the kind of mentality that we have. We're just trying to be the best that we can be and represent LA as best as we possibly can. That's our mission.
I know you guys work together, so I've always, I did a showcase at your barbershop. I've been to your barbershop a few times, and just every time I walk in there, I always feel the good vibe. I always feel like everyone's happy, everyone's, taking care of business almost. Everything's intact. And I really, it's really welcoming when you just show up, and you got the TVs going, you got the nice music playing, and everybody's just busy. And if they're not busy, it looks like they're promoting. So I feel like you got a good mindset, that like a great leader for most part, that you have a great team that are following their dreams and they are accomplishing them as they go by having a great leader. But one thing that I would like to know is what exactly what identifies your barbershop? Is that the barbershop to go to because you're a well-known barber in LA? Or is that the barbershop because it's like a family-oriented, everybody can just pull up and have a great time there, get a haircut, have a good vibe? Because I must admit, other than, out of all the barbershops I know in LA, I think your barbershop is one of the most known barbershops in LA. You know, and great positivity out there. I don't think I've ever heard anything or any bad experiences from there. You know, but what do you feel is your main goal, and what gives that shop that identity that you have?
I feel like what makes our barbershop unique, we want a place where we want customers to go in there and we just like we really practice being very polite to people, being professional. We want people. We let people know through our social media that we try to stay with the newest trends. You know, we want customers because customers like things that are new.
Yeah.
Anytime you see new, like in any ad, you're like, I kind of want to. I'm curious about it, you know. And we try to let people know that we are always, our mission is to always be relevant and for their convenience, you know, because this industry, it moves really fast. There's always this quote that I always remember, and it's evolve or get dissolved. Yeah, and that's true, and that's scary.
Yeah.
You always gotta be moving. You can never be too comfortable. Anything that challenges you, it changes you, and I feel that it's very important for us at the shop, and I'm very grateful that I have guys like that. Well, just the guys in general at the shop. Everybody kind of keeps me on my toes. They be like, "Hey, GT, like we should start doing this, and we should start doing that," and they're taking out of my comfort zone, and that's good. Overall, that's our.
I think something that I love, bro, about I've been at a shop where it was 14 barbers, and no, like, oh my God, there was like 2 teams, bro. They hated each other, and it was always us against other people. But when I went to GT's, it was never that. It was just always like, okay, cool, like we're here and we're all gonna collaborate. And I think everybody was just more like family orientated, you know,
Yeah.
like more calm. We're there, we're not wilding out, you know. Like obviously, there's always shop talk, there's always like shop music, or we know when to have these conversations about like, hey, did you see this? Did you see that? Like we're
Yeah.
obviously not gonna be having it. And when there's like kids around us or certain things like that. But I think that's what I enjoy being there, is just like everyone is professional, everyone's responsible, everyone is like, we mind our own business, but we also help each other out. But it's never like a competition or a hate, you know. It was never like that.
So when you say, now that you say that, like it reminds me of like when barbers were interested in working at the shop when we opened it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna have a conversation with them, and I'm gonna based off the conversation I have with them,
You're gonna hire them.
I'm gonna So what I was looking for is kind of like people who think like me, you know?
Yeah.
People who kind of think like me and have the same kind of like personality as me. Just because LA, you just don't know what you're gonna get, you know? So I finally was talking to these guys, and then I was just like, okay, and this guy, you know, it sounds crazy. He might not fit with the other guys, and overall, like I feel like we all just you know, that's why we all get along very well. I was kind of picky of like who came in first. We had to make a good impression, not only for the customers but for each other. We're all gonna be working with each other. I was like, yeah, these guys, they have to be motivated. And look, Diego, right now you got this, you got a podcast going on.
Yeah.
You know, there's other barbers in there at the shop that are always doing something to better themselves.
Yeah.
So I'm really comfortable that I'm really glad that I did my homework, and it's good because we all keep getting better. Like we're all at a higher level than we were
When we
months
got there,
before.
when we got
yeah.
in the previous podcast, I was telling them how when I got to your shop, you remember that we planned to go to Connecticut, and you were
Yeah,
like,
we went.
I already bought the tickets, and I was like, GT, do you know where is that? And you're like, no, but we're going.
But let's go.
Yeah, and then when we realized like we was all in Connecticut. you know, but
Connecticut was
that
lit.
was our first shows, bro.
Connecticut was lit. I
That's
recommend
dope.
it to anybody. That,
How was Connecticut for you? I already shared my experience, but how was it for you?
Well, Connecticut, it was like again, I just felt like when I first came into the barber game, like it was like Disneyland, but for a barber, you know?
Yeah.
Just because you see everybody that motivated you when you were coming up, people that are currently motivating me right now. I saw some of my favorite barbers like Los Cut It. I saw Rob the Original.
He was there that year.
A-Rod. Yeah, like these guys, I will watch them. I was like, when I saw them, I was like, damn, like.
You
these
know what
guys-
interested me a lot about A-Rod, bro? That I'm walking around and he's over there acting like he's in front of the camera, like, whoa. He's just like, people will come up to him, he's like, can I get a picture? And he knew how to pose already, like, yeah, let's go. And like, I was just like, how are they so natural with this, bro? So that was really captivating for me. I was like, damn, these people are really cool. Like, but Robert Original was there. Who else do you remember seeing that year?
Man, well, I saw everybody that's still relevant today. Like
We saw
the people,
Sophie,
the
right?
people from Statement. I like a lot of people from Wall, all these brands, and overall it was a really good experience, especially because I went with you guys and everybody was just kind of like just as excited, you know, every single day. So I think it's overall what helps out and these kind of trips is a lot more communication within the barbers. It keeps everybody motivated, and to continue to get better. And it was dope, but we missed our flight going back to LA.
Oh yeah, we did.
What's that like? Like, you know, for these upcoming barbers, you know, we talk a lot about attending events and going to these shows, you know, but tell me about expenses. Like, do you feel like it's worth every penny that you spend on that trip, or do you feel like you expected more from it?
Nah, literally, well, from my experience, it's worth it because first of all these things are write-ups. You know, for people that are, you know, that are thinking you can't write off. Yes, all these trips you can write them off. This you can consider it as a business
airplane
trip.
ticket, the
airplane
show ticket, and the hotel.
So you might end up seeing that back on a tax refund, you know, during tax season. So just keep that in mind. You know, going to any expo, going to anywhere is that's related to your shop.
That was a pricey expo, huh? I think it was like around like $1,500.
Yeah, we spent like
right.
We spent like I think like $250 for the VIP one.
Oh yeah,
and for the VIP pass, and then the airplane was like $600, I believe, right?
And then hotel was like $300.
Yeah.
But then whatever you go waste over there, bro. And then you
after being excited, you buy all this.
Excited, bro.
All
You're
these
just buying
machines.
everything, bro.
Yeah.
And then the food, bro. You're like, oh my god. So it's like it's a lot of money, but I always say like, as long as you see it as an investment, I always say like, I don't know how we're gonna make money off this, right? Like, I could say this about the podcast. I don't know how exactly I'm gonna make money, but I don't see it as an expense. I see it as an investment. Same thing with the expos. I think a lot of people don't want to go to expos because they're like, if I put in this much investment, what's my return in investment? And at the moment, it's zero.
Yeah.
You don't come back with like $200 more in your bank account. You come back with zero, right? But down the future, everything pays you back, bro.
So a lot of these, I think some barbers that don't want to go to expos, they just feel like, oh, I'm just gonna go look around. But in reality, you have to when you go to any expos, for example, we just went to Pro Studios, and then there's other, like I think there's a LYC one coming up.
The hair jam.
Yeah, that one's gonna be lit. Basically, any event that you go to, your main goal should be socializing, getting people's Instagram. You never know who you're gonna meet. You never know who you're gonna meet. You never know, like if they work for a certain brand and they might need a barber, you know, to showcase for them. All these things, they keep your brand going higher. You might even, like I said, end up working with a brand. I mean, you get a lot of exposure when you go to these kind of things, but you gotta take advantage of those events. You know.
So that wasn't your first expo, right? Or it was?
No.
So before that, you already went to other expos?
I used to work with Gentleman Republic.
Oh yes, I remember. Yeah.
I used to work with Gentleman Republic. I think in like around 2015. I actually met them when I was in barber school, and they liked my work. They took me to Vegas 2 years in a row. I was right there. We're like
you were showcasing.
Yeah, I was actually the first barber sponsored by Gentleman Republic. They just had like models that would have their their hair combed with their product and stuff like that. They told me, they're like, hey, like, you know, I was the only one on the stage. It was not even a big stage. It was small because they were still a brand that was starting up.
Yeah. Do you know where are they right now?
Yeah. Well, the brand is still active. The brand is still active. But I stopped working with them a little after, just for personal reasons. They're still really good friends of mine. I talk to them in occasions.
What are some of the classes you took, GT?
Yeah. So most of my classes, they were it's because I have a problem with like stage fright, you know?
Yeah.
So most of the classes that I had were mainly, you know, to be in places like where I'm at right now, you know, being with you guys, not stuttering. You know, I'm still working on it. You know, this right here is out of my comfort zone. So most of the classes, they were for public speaking.
Oh, okay.
They were for public speaking, you know, fundamentals on shear cutting And that's, you know, I'm still working on it today.
Yeah.
Sometimes because of the shop and the family, I might not have a lot of time to continue to practice. Basically, all my classes that I've taken, one was with Diego from Cerritos,
Yeah.
and the other one was with Leche. I've also taken a SMP class.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, that one's pretty dope. You know, it helps out with like people who are losing their hair and stuff like that. You could just make a shade darker, you know, in areas that are kind of bald. That's pretty cool. Some other classes that those are one-on-ones because I've taken most classes through like, no, I've seen most classes like during showcases and stuff like that.
Okay,
you
so
know,
you prefer the one-on-one.
One-on-ones are way better.
Yeah,
They're more
yeah.
expensive though.
They're more expensive. Yeah,
Yeah.
correct. Where do you see the industry right now, and where do you think it's going in the future? What are like three or four
has evolved a
things that
lot.
you're like, damn?
Well, to be honest, I feel like the industry right now, we're in an initiation to merging again with cosmetology.
Yeah.
When like I was telling you guys at the beginning of like when I started cutting hair, barbershops were called unisex, you know? And that was basically because it was like a mixture of cosmetology and barbering. It was like
Yeah.
most people had both type of customers. And I feel like we're about to get back in that, but at a way higher level.
No, yeah, I feel like we're gonna get back to that, but now we're actually gonna know how to do it properly.
Yeah.
Because I'm cutting a lot of women's hair, and what I realized that they're always complaining. They're always like, "Oh, no me lo dejó como yo quería. They cut too much. Look, all this." So now that I convinced some girls, I'm like, "Hey, let me cut your hair," you know, and I take my time. And they're like, "Oh my god!" Like I told them, "Hey, you're gonna take 40 minutes." And they're like, "Oh my god, the lady that cut my hair took 10 minutes." So now I feel like it is gonna merge, and there's gonna be quality service.
Yeah, I just feel that, like, especially with everything I've been seeing, I follow a lot of cosmetologists, and I see the kind of work that they're putting out. I see the work that we're putting out. I'm starting to see the merge, you know?
Yeah.
I'm starting to see the merge, and I just feel that, like, we're going to get to a point where, like, we're going to go back to that. Like, most barbers are going to have some girl customers or just long hair, you know? Long hair customers. So I feel like that's where we're going to again, and everybody has to adapt. We all had to adapt, like I said, like, with that quote, and you know, you evolve or you get dissolved.
Yeah, I'm more interested right now in like becoming a stylist more than just a barber. Like I want to style people's hair, especially that's what I focus on now. More like when the client leaves, make sure I style it in a way where they're like, "How did he do this?" So when they get home, they're like, "Oh, like the only way to get my hair like done like this is if I go back,
Yeah.
Diego," you know. So. But I noticed that there's a lot into styling now, especially with fashion
Yeah.
and shoes. So I feel like soon we should start seeing more men. Right now I see a lot of
Just
barbers
style.
and a lot of barbers on their Instagram. They have barbers/stylists. So that's what they got.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the industry is kind of heading to that direction, like you mentioned as well, because there's a lot of barbers involved with doing color. There's a lot of barbers involved in just shear work. Is like what's popping off right now. Shear work, taking shear classes and all that stuff. That I think that's a big hit right now. That if we don't adapt to that, then we're just missing out on that opportunity. And I feel like that opportunity is not just here for a month, a year. I think it's here for
It's
a
here to
few
stay.
years. You know, it's here to stay. And once you capture all that knowledge, nobody could take that away from you. You could even step your game up and even teach it. Once
Yeah.
you really
Yeah.
master it, you're able to teach it.
Definitely, bro. That's here to stay, and we're just at the beginning of it, because
Yeah.
all barbers are finally like, okay, let's make that transition. Like,
Yeah.
you know, including me. Like, I've been doing the same hairstyles for a minute, and now I'm just like, okay, like let's go. You know, I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but let's just go. You know.
Yeah, even
Obviously
barbers with style, I feel like when I started cutting hair 5 years back, barbers, they wouldn't really get ready for work.
Yeah.
Like they would just
That's
show
true.
up to work.
That's
you know,
true.
some even people would, you know, with their Nike
Sandals.
slides and you know,
Yeah.
just like take care of the day, some shorts, and you know, get their clients and that's it. And I feel like that's a weakness now. You walk into a shop and you see that, and it's just almost it's like you want to walk right out. Like they're not taking their job serious. They don't even take time to make themselves look good. If you look like that, how are you gonna make me look if you cut my hair? You know,
Right.
that's kind of what I've been seeing when these barbers are doing. What they're doing now is they're actually getting ready. and they're, you know, a client walking or whatever, you know, comes in, and some people gravitate to that. They're like, I like that person's style, you know, like, you know what, let me see what pointers I can get from him. I'm gonna get the haircut by this person, and they just become your client.
Yeah.
You know,
I think one day I went into the shop, like all bummy, bro. My hair, like, and I'm cutting hair, and then I look at the mirror, and I'm like, I can't believe I look like this. I shouldn't be like this.
Bro,
I think I even had like a muscle shirt. Bro.
I can't
was
do.
like, oh my god.
I can't do the whole sandal thing, bro.
Yeah, no.
Oh man, and another thing, this ain't even got to do with. This doesn't have to do with sandals, but like when barbers sleep in the chair, like for hours, bro. Like you know, I'm like, damn, bro, like that doesn't look good either. You know?
yeah, like go sleep in your car or something. You know,
Yeah, it's just you know, when customers walk in, like, you know, first impression is everything. I always look at it like that, you know, because during the time that I started cutting hair, it was like stand behind the chair, be ready, because the walk-in is gonna come in. If you don't get the walk-in, you're not working. You know,
Yeah.
Everybody was always like, hey, like, you know, like I'm ready, you know, and so even if I'm tired, I just be like, unless it's the end of the day, unless I'm done, you know, then I can probably finally sit down and then just freaking like rest.
Yeah.
Rest. And like that video that I just saw of you.
Oh yeah.
You're just like what, like 12 hours in, and then
Yeah.
that mega stretch at the end of the day, that back crack and all that is just needed, bro.
No,
It's
bro,
just
and
needed.
that video right there, it was off my barbershop camera. Like I'm like, it's because I had taken an energy drink earlier that day, and when I was finishing that haircut, I felt my body just crashing. I'm like, yo, like it's crashing at the wrong time, you know?
Hey, so how
I'm tired.
many years GT do you have like working like solid like 12-hour days? Because I know you work 12 solid hour days, but how long do you have doing that already?
Bro, I've been working since like I started, bro. The barbershop I was in. Okay, so check this out. Don Roberto.
Mm-hmm.
When I was working at a shop, I had no customers. You know, like I'll do like 3 people a day or something. 3, maybe 5 at most. I think the most I did was 7, but that was like a holiday.
Yeah.
So I never saw that number 7 ever again. I was always between 3 and 5. One time the shop was dead. I didn't do anybody. And I told Don Roberto, I'm like, hey, like, you know what? Shop's pretty slow, man. You know, can I go home? I already been here like 8 hours, you know? Most people just do 8 hours, you know? I was trying to see how I can get out of the barbershop. And he was like, he laughed and he was like, you're a barber now. He's like, barbers, we don't leave after 8 hours. Barbers, we leave when it's time to close. And it was always like that. I was never able to leave until he said, okay, we're done for the day. Basically, I had to leave when he was gonna leave. And he always left like at 9 p.m.
Man,
And
That's
I was,
crazy.
yeah, bro.
I cannot imagine
That's how
that
it
right
was,
now,
though. That's
bro.
how it
Like,
was back then, bro.
yeah, I know. Can you imagine, like, I got into this industry because I wanted to be my own boss. I did not like people being like, hey, get off your phone. When I was working, you know, I did printing for 10 years, right? So when I did printing, I would have people like, hey, you can't be on your phone. Hey, you have to clock out for lunch. You have to clock in. So I got into the industry like, yo, like, I want to make my own schedule, bro. Like, put in the work and all that, gain the clientele, and then later on be like, okay, if I don't want to work, I'm not going to work, you know? I can only imagine back in the day, it was just like, okay, I haven't got nobody. I've been here for 10 hours. I still can't leave. You know, that must have been really, really tough. But it made you who you are now.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is like some of us, we just look at it and just like, man, like I want to go home whenever I want to go home. But once you put in the work, like you put in the work, the years behind and all that stuff, going to school, going from barbershop to barbershop, until you landed to where you really wanted, to evolving and becoming a business owner and having your own barbershop and stuff. And now it's like double the work, you know? Now it's double the work. Now it's like you're a barber, but you're also a barbershop owner. You got to make sure everything's intact, your business and all that, being there for hours and hours. It was just prepping you for the evolved version of GT, you know, that you got going on right now. And I think that when we do those things, we like Diego was saying earlier, it doesn't pay off immediately, but it pays off in the long run.
Yeah,
you know.
definitely.
So you might have hated it in the beginning, but now it's like,
I hated it so much, bro. But like I said, I'm lucky. I actually feel fortunate that I was working with somebody strict like that, because ever since then, at every barbershop, I was like one of the last ones to leave. If not, my goal was like, I can't be the first. I can't be
the last one to come in.
No,
and the first one to leave.
like I don't want to leave the shop and there's like a lot of barbers still there. That means I left too early.
Yeah, correct.
I want to leave. My goal is to be the last one there. I'll take people in until I'm the last one there. If not, that's how I know I had a really good day. Or if there was only me and somebody else, I'm like, okay, I did enough, you know? So my goal was always to be like the last one there. It was always very important to me to at the end of the day, it maximized my gains while I was there.
Yeah.
It's very important to when you're there, be as productive as you can. Don't just be there and then like all that time and only do like a little bit of customers during that time. Hit people up, you know. I'll text some customers like, hey, I know I didn't get you the other day, but I got time right now, you know. Or you know, make discounts online. Like I was always trying to figure out how to have somebody in my chair, even with a discount or with whatever. I was trying to be as busy as possible because that's just how I was brought up in that barbershop. And till this day, like, you know, you'll see me, Diego, like I'll be there all day. Yeah. And it's just regular to me now, you know. I'd be tired like in that video you saw, but you know, it's a regular thing.
Part of the process.
Yeah, so I feel kind of fortunate that Don Roberto, he taught me like how not to be lazy. Like, get over it, you know. When you're self-employed, it's like you make money when you're working, and when you're not, like that's it. Yeah. We don't get paid for vacation and stuff like that. So,
GT, how was it that you came up with the designs? Like, because in LA you were known for that guy doing the designs when nobody was doing designs, and how was that for you? Especially like I remember my dad wanted to whoop my ass, bro, when I got a design because he thought it was gang related, you know. And I remember the next thing he told my mom, if Diego comes back home with a design, I swear I'm cutting his hair bald. I swear. And I came back with a design. I still came back with a design, GT. And I told my mom, like, hey, please, like, don't let him cut me bald. But how was that then?
Bro, so that's crazy. Like, okay, so like all elementary and middle school, I used to love watching Dragon Ball Z, freaking Pokemon, a lot of these Japanese cartoons. And I used to always draw them because I was just a big fan of them. Like, so I would draw them all the time. And like, when I'll see like the whole body's coming out cool and then the face just comes out whack, I will crumble it up and I'll throw it away. So, I would just keep redoing it. There was even times like, cause I was a kid, like I'll start crying like, damn, I can't get this shit right. You know, I can't get this right. So eventually I got really good at drawing like, anime characters. Just my favorite one to draw was always, Goku and Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh as well. And then I remember as I was cutting hair, people were going crazy over a star that Chris Brown got done on the side of his head. It was like a shooting star. And then somebody was like, hey, Raymond, do you think you could do that? And I'm like, for real? Just that? I feel like I could do it, but why do you want that? He's like, do you know how to do it? And I'm like, yeah, let's do it, you know? So I did it. And
how did it come out?
Everybody was good. And everybody was going crazy. They're like, bro, like, do that to me too. I did so many stars. There was like the era of the stars.
I was saying that's definitely an era because I used to get designs too, and I used to get stars.
I used to get stars too.
It was like a Babe star, right?
You used to get 3.
A Babe, yeah. I've done a Babe one.
It's like the Babe star with the kind of like the.
It didn't have X's on the eyes or something, or no? Wait, that's
that's also a Babe. That's Cause.
Cause, there you go.
Like the Cause star when they did the collab.
I did that one before.
Yeah.
And it was just a bunch of stars at some point. Like, you know, I got really good at them. And Rob the Original, I will see some of his videos because there was not a lot of content. There was not a lot of content out on YouTube at the time. It was just
Do you guys remember the Highborn?
No. Yeah, I remember the Highborn.
Diego?
Diego did like.
Oh, you're talking about my boy Diego.
Yeah, Diego. He did that. And then there was another one called the 4 a.m. haircut by Famous. But they were the only ones doing designs, or like doing a video on how to do a design.
Yeah, I found out about Diego later on in my career.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I'm telling you, like there was a point in barbering where I just stopped like all barbering, like, you know, anything that involved studying, I just stopped. So I didn't get to know anybody until in the late. Like 2018 around.
So you're doing designs and you're just getting inspiration from.
So everybody was going crazy for the stars, and then I just kept adding stuff to the stars and stuff like that. I was always better at designs by sketching them. The only thing that I didn't like about myself was that I was not good at coming up with new things. I always had to get inspiration from something else. Like that's the only.
But now I see your designs, and your designs are just like, you know, GT did that because it's so unique, bro.
I really wish I had more of that creative side in me. Sometimes I'm like, damn, like I wanna go ahead and just do a piece that I've never seen before, like, and I just can't, bro. But for the record, like,
I think you can, bro.
You can.
I actually think you can. It's just losing that fear, you know, like losing that fear of messing that up because you have a big name, and imagine you Gtcutz messing something up is like, nah, it's not happening, you know. But I think you could really do it, you know, because when you say that, I'm talking about what could GT mess up.
Yeah.
You get me? Like being the pioneer of doing designs from, you know, in the barber industry, I feel like you can tackle it, but just losing the fear and just doing and just kind of doing it, even practicing it, you know, making it better, or even making it not exactly the same but your own style. Just like I seen you did some fire design with the actual flames, you know, at the Pro Studios. That was smooth. It was nice, you know, with the color and everything. So that's all creativity. Let's take creativity. So we can only know from the back end of it, you know, but you know, there's clients out there that they just want it and they're willing to pay. You know?
Did doing designs bring you more income? Did you feel like it?
I feel like it did, and not only did it bring me more income, but it brought me like a lot of attention. I feel like at the time when I started, I kind of started like my Instagram kind of started blowing up. I remember I was stuck at like 1,000 followers or maybe less. And then out of nowhere, like I was just posting things up, and I was fortunate like by like some pages reposting.
I would see some pages repost your stuff.
They'll repost me.
It was like Barbershop Connect.
Yeah,
or like
Barbershop Connect
TV.
and stuff like that. So I remember I was getting a bunch of followers off of that. At some point, I started hitting up pages, and I'm like, hey, like how much you guys charge, you know, for promoting my picture and stuff like that. So I really advise for people that are trying to get like, you know, more followers, more exposure. Hit up some of your favorite like pages that you feel like you can cater to their audience, and then ask them like, hey, how much for a shout out? Don't ever go in there and say shout me out. Go in there with, you know, because if they're gonna do something for you, you gotta do something for them. So I would always be there. Hey, like how much you guys charge? I'm ready. I got Zelle, I got Cash App, whatever, you know. And that's how we'll do it. And I did that for like a whole year. And then my Instagram went from like less than 1,000 to over like 15,000, and
that's just plain old marketing. Like the people out there, they don't understand that. I gone to a lot of seminars where one of the persons told, I think he told Grant Cardone, bro. He told Grant Cardone, hey, how much will you charge me to put my name? And he's like 15,000, in one of the live shows, bro. And he paid the 15,000, and that brought him a lot of traffic to his company. But I don't think it's a bad thing that you're paying these pages.
It's not.
Yeah, it's not. Some people kind of be like, oh, he's paid his way in. It's like, well, he has to
pay
work to make money.
You got to pay to play.
And, you know, you got to pay to play. So, like, it's crazy because I was in barber school when I first met you. I was going to Master Academy. I think you were doing an instructor program.
Yeah. Also for the public speaking.
And for the public speaking. And he was coming in, and it's crazy that in barber school I met GT, and I knew, he told me, he's like, man, I'm just getting used to like public speaking, honestly, bro. This is difficult for me. And he's like, I see you just do it, bro. Like, I see you're a student, but you're helping out everyone in the school and stuff like that. And I remember talking to GT, and he said exactly what he's saying right now was, you know, sometimes you have to pay. Like, this is when Instagram first started doing those sponsor ads.
Yeah.
And you were like,
boost post.
You guys can boost it. It doesn't even have to be $1,000 that you have to put into it. You can put an easy $50 on a picture and have it boost, and it'll bring more clients. And I was like, yo, that's crazy. What is that? And that's how I discovered the boost. Yeah. And it's been working. Yeah. And it's been working since. That's one of the tips that I took from GT and just ran with it, and it's working for me. And I think just little gems like that you find, that some people even have to pay a whole class to hear that gem. Yeah. You know? And I can notice that. I can notice that from you. Why? Because I've been to classes. I've been to one of your initiating classes that you did with Juicy and Holy at Mr. Cutz.
Yeah, Mr. Cutz.
I went to Mr. Cutz, and you guys had hosted a class. I was doing the Colores tour at that time. And I went, and I was like, well, I'm getting used to, I knew how to talk, but I'm also not used to talk in front of a lot of people or with the crowd, right? Like, so I was getting used to that. So I was like, I need to attend to see how they do it, so I can either mimic or learn something off of it, sponge as much as I can from it, and just pay it forward. And that's what I did. It's just a matter of attending, showing up, grasping everything that you have, and just talk, and do it. And mainly, like, just lose that fear. And every time you do it, you're gonna do it a lot better
Yeah.
and a lot better and a lot better. Because even here, and I'm just like, GT, let go of that fear. Like, I've been knowing you for a few years already, and you feel like, man, I'm not comfortable in front of the camera. I'm not comfortable talking, and it's just like, dude, let's just do it, bro. The more you do it, the more that you're gonna be comfortable with, doing that. Because I feel like you have major potential to be back on stage and showing your work.
Yeah, and that's the plan, man. To be honest with you.
And that's dope. That's dope. So you mentioning that's the plan. So you have the barbershop. Tell me a little bit more about, because GT is also known for being a celebrity barber, cutting up a few celebrity people. I know you chopped up YG.
Yeah.
You've done the Canelo team, and a few other people artists have came to your barbershop to get a haircut.
Yeah,
what was that
I
experience
see
like?
that mixture that I remember GT was like, I'm going to this boxing match. And I remember one day I told him, like, for what are you gonna watch it? Like, yeah, but I'm more there to just connect and try to get these people to be my clients and give out my hats. And he was going to like boxing matches, already promoting the barbershop. GT.
Well, so I'm really into boxing. I mean, like, I'm a big Canelo fan. My whole family's from Guadalajara, so they kind of introduced me to him. I've always been, as I was getting older, I saw Canelo, and I'm like, shit, like I want to be around that team. Luckily, I have a cousin that cuts hair in Guadalajara, and he was sending people over to me. He was cutting up like Eddie Reynoso, Canelo's trainer, and he told him about me, and I went over to his house. So, but basically the goal, like when I get in touch with these kind of people, like boxers, is for networking. And I always try to go to these kind of boxing events just because I like being around it, and I would want to get as many boxers as I possibly can, just because, like I said, I like it, and it's good to promote the brand. As far as like YG goes, because I am in LA. I had a lot of people that knew YG personally.
And you cut him up like in his peak, right? Like when he was like pop.
Yeah. We went to a few shows too, and I was just backstage. Some of them I didn't even cut hair. I would just like they just invited me. They're like, let's go. I'm like, all right, for sure. YG was one of my favorite LA rappers, along with some of the legends that are already here. But YG's still one of my favorite. I could listen to some of the music and I'll just,
So was YG the initiation of GT cutting up celebrities, or was there somebody
That
like
was-
uprising? Yeah, that was YG.
Yeah, YG. And then after that, it was more like local celebrities. So they're not
So
like.
did you ever cut DJ Mustard or no?
No, but
I feel like
I've
met him,
actually
right?
yeah, I met him on several occasions just because I was already around YG and some of his friends. So sometimes they'll be like, hey, like, let's go to the Slauson Mall, DJ Mustard told us to meet him up right there. He's gonna buy. I think there's a jewelry store called Icy Fresh, or something like that.
It's one of the most famous ones.
Yeah.
Where a lot of upcoming artists are going. Slauson Swami, right?
Yeah, it's Slauson Swami. So DJ Mustard was there. We met him up right there. He just kind of wanted like a lot of people that he knew to show up at the same time as him, because
Probably
Slauson,
recording or something.
No, just Slauson Mall. It could get crazy fast, So, I mean, I was just there, just because I was like, that's cool, But there was actually a lot of other people that were there, literally protecting him, and it was crazy. Like DJ Mustard pulled up, bought like $45,000 chain, and it was just like a freaking California state. I was like, God damn, like, I guess, But it was dope. Yeah, the whole YG era, like when I was there, it was pretty cool. I'm still in contact with a lot of them. I just kind of like cut down on it because I wanted to focus more on other people, and I'm always trying to see who I can get in contact with for the barbershop specifically, because everything that we do as a group, or even me, like it ends up giving us a reputation. So
Yeah, correct.
I'm always trying to see like where I can invest.
So you're around the team of Canelo. What has stopped you to like? Have you met Canelo? Have you been close to Canelo?
You know what? I have.
Because I could imagine that's your dream, to cut him up.
I have met him, but it was just kind of like we're all like in the same group, and it was just like there's a lot of people already around, and I'm not gonna like be like, hey bro, like, well, everybody's already asking for a picture. I'm not gonna be like, hey, like, because then I'm gonna just look like one of them, and right away they might say like, hey, like, don't call this guy again, Get this fool out. Yeah, so I'm like, you know what? I'm just not gonna be that.
Sometimes you don't want to make the wrong move that'll eliminate you from being, in the room at least,
Yeah.
Like I've learned that too. But I can only imagine how close you've been
Yeah,
to
'cause
get
that-
to that dream
that-
to be
that's
able
like
to
a
chop 'em
superstar.
up.
Yeah.
You know, like that's an icon, I think
That's an
now.
icon,
Like,
like
Yeah.
from Mexico, Guadalajara, you know, like that's
Yeah.
super icon. But yeah, what back to the Diego's question, like you've only been close in the same room as him besides the boxing match. You think you're taking the steps in the right direction to get you there to hopefully be able to cut them up, or is that something that you're like, if it comes around, it comes?
Yeah, I think for anybody who's trying to get into like celebrities, what I've learned over the years is that these guys have everything. These guys have managers or agents that get them anything that they need for their own convenience. So
Yeah.
so sometimes you never see these managers. They're always like behind the scenes doing a bunch of phone calls. So it's gonna be hard for you to get to the celebrity. Even if you know the people around them, they'll be like, you know what? They're always like, it's always kind of hard to get to them. Sometimes the people around the celebrity you want to get to, they make it hard for you. They're like, you know, what am I gonna get off of it? You know, so just know that it's a very difficult field to get into. You have to have a lot of connections. If not, you probably have to pay your way in there. And now honestly, I'm not willing to do that. You know,
Yeah.
I'd rather at that point, I'd rather just enjoy, you know, watching him as a boxer. You know,
Correct.
I just kind of like you said, like I kind of, if it happens, it happens, and if it doesn't, oh well. You know, there's a bunch of other things that we can get into, promote the business, like collaborations, like
Yeah.
something that I really want to do this year, especially because we're barely kind of getting our feet wet with creating content. I will want to do like not only collaborations with the barbers in our shop, but I will want to like do a collaboration with other people, other barbers that are near us. You know, I feel like that's cool. Like for example, a collaboration with somebody from LA and somebody in Downey and somebody in Southgate, stuff like that. You know, that'll join the community a little bit more.
Yeah, correct.
The barber community, and it's just cool. Like at the end, we all end up winning because we all get a bunch of respect from these cities, and at the same time we get exposure and followers.
Yeah, that's
and
crazy
stuff
that
like
you mentioned that, because I actually brought something like that to the table for you, because I've been seeing you guys. You know, you guys go to events and stuff like that. You guys are one of the most popping shops in LA as well. And with the team that I was with Presidential, I talked to the guys and stuff like that, and we're super duper cool. And we want to bring to the table of doing maybe a soccer match. You know, I'm sure it probably had got to your ears already or something like that. So
Victor had hit me up.
Yeah, Victor El Animal. He was telling me, and I was
that's
like,
my
oh,
boy.
I'm gonna see him, and so maybe we can coordinate something so
Yeah.
we can make that happen, bro.
Hell
Like
yeah, bro.
like you said, make some content. Let other barbershops know that, you know, if you get together and you guys work towards a goal, it's better to have more people involved and people backing you than you trying to do it on your own. It's better to do it, you know. The audience is going to see that two barbershops are getting along. Look what the fruitation that's coming from it, everything that's happening with, you know, everything besides cutting hair. You know, we're still humans.
We're still human.
We're still, you know, feed our soul with, you know, with what we love. For instance, now, like I love soccer. You know, I like soccer.
Wait,
you know,
play soccer for real?
Yeah, we play soccer. We even had a
good.
team. We even had a presidential soccer
Yeah,
team. You know, we had a team. We were going. You know, so we want more of that. We want more of that, and I think my mind just works crazy to where I want to put something together like that and be the initiation of something, because the summer's coming, bro. The summer's coming. We can get something going like on Sunday, Mondays, you know, on the least busiest days of the shop.
Yeah.
Get something popping off to where we can get something like that moving. We can motivate other barbershops to collaborate. You
Yeah.
know, cutting hair, playing a few games, or even just having a content day or whatever, you know, to elevate the industry, whatever it is. You
Honestly,
know?
I feel like that is something that is it'll be very good for the barber community, because I feel that there was a generation where a lot of barbers, they were intimidated because they felt like anytime that they were able to like a lot of competitions were going on, it made a lot of barbers just close their door like on any kind of
Maybe because
collaboration.
they lost
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
right?
So I felt that collaborations, they will make barbers kind of like try new things out, you know, instead of being like, oh shit, like, you know, I'm not going to that, you know. I feel like they'll definitely bring the community.
Yeah,
a
I
lot
feel
to
like
it.
that's one of the things that's needed more in the industry, more of the collaboration, not just individually, because like for example, right here in this podcast, you got myself from Colores, and then you got Diego from Gtcutz, two different barbershops just
Yeah.
uniting to create something nice for the industry, to bring it all out and make everything unfold. So it's always good to look outside of your circle as well. You know, different ideas and all that stuff helps us out. I think that we can really boil something up to make it work and set the example for others to get hungry again, or you know, like you said, there was a point where you felt kind of like in a dark spot, or like, you know what, it's just not motivating for me
Yeah.
anymore. And I'm sure people are watching this right now. There might be some barbers that feel like that, or
Yeah.
there might even be a full-on barbershop or a
Yeah.
barbershop owner that feels like that. And they're like, you know what? That's true. Let's get it going. How can I collab with the next barbershop down the street to do something? You know, even giving back to the community.
Yeah.
Like the community events work as well.
Yeah, that's definitely.
Everything.
All those things sound good.
All those things is like, why not do it? And why aren't people doing that
Yeah,
right
exactly.
now?
Correct.
You know, so that's
something that could be arranged.
We're gonna have to set something up.
No, for real.
Yeah.
That definitely, and hopefully once we get this rolling, you know, we can inspire or have other barbershops trying to or salons to try to, you know, make some collaborations with any of us, or they do it the same way. Hopefully something it's a start of something good like this, you know.
Yeah, as long as we unite California, I think that's already like
Yeah.
a big goal, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even in Southern California, even
Southern
like
California,
down,
just
down
Southern-
here, you
yeah,
know,
it's a
like
lot.
even down here, I think there's a lot of potential, a lot of potential, and from there, other conversations spark up, and we do different things. You know, I think that's the main goal. But we gotta have like-minded individuals that
Yeah.
are hungry and that
Yeah.
and that are willing to lose the ego. I think,
Yeah.
you know, a lot of barbers walk around with a lot of ego, and it just
Definitely, bro.
closes their doors for a lot of opportunities. You
Yeah.
know, some people just, we come from an era too where barbers wouldn't even want their own colleague to look at them and how they do the
How they cut their
design,
hair, yeah.
how they do the lineup, how they spray the enhancement or whatever. Like they turn their back on them, you know, or put their headphones on, and those things are all like big factors that don't help you grow. If you're being selfish, it's not going to help you grow. It's always good to grow with a team and you know, having partners and collaborations like you were mentioning. So I'm really looking forward to that. And everyone out there that's listening to this, send us a message. You
Yeah,
know, let's do
definitely.
something. Let's
Yeah.
work. You know, GT has a full-on squad. I'm getting ready to prep my own full-on squad. We're connected with a lot of different people that can get you to where you want to go. It's just a matter of giving us a message. You know, we're here for the community, for the barber industry. Let's keep this growing.
Hell yeah,
Yeah,
man.
let's
That-
collaborate.
Yeah.
So GT, bro, what would you like people to know about you?
Well, outside of the barbershop, to be honest, I'm just a really chill guy, really simple. I'm more about my family. I have my wife, my son. That honestly, like, there's times where I feel like a lot of pressure on me, and I think the only way I can reset myself, my mind, is when I'm with them. Like, I just want them. Like, I'll tell them like, hey, on my days off, like, get ready. Like, we're gonna go out. I don't know, just pick somewhere, but we're gonna go out. You know.
Yeah, spend time with them, right?
It doesn't necessarily need to be somewhere like fancy. It just, we can go take a walk at the mall. We can go to a park. It could be something like that.
So how would you say you balance that, like being a shop owner and being a family?
Honestly,
Yeah.
like something that I've been learning, and I also learned this from when I went with Leche to one of his courses, is that, I mean, I kind of already knew this, but he put it in a way that I was like, oh shoot, I do gotta try this. He's like, he told me, he's like, look, when you get home, do only home stuff. When you go back to work, you know, keep work at work, keep home at home. You know, because sometimes people, we try to mix them. We go home and maybe we need a little bit more interaction with our wife, our kid,
Yeah.
and we're just like, we're over here doing a bunch of work stuff. And like, I feel that I did mess up in that part as my kid. You know, when my kid was a baby, I felt that I was coming home with the idea that, like, oh, damn, I gotta write this appointment and that appointment. And I really can't remember, like, like at least the first 3 to 6 months of my kid, like on how he looked or like, you know, all that stuff. Just because I was always working and I always felt like as a man, we always try to
Provide. Huh?
provide. Yeah. So that's our instinct. Like, oh, we have a kid or we're in a marriage, we got to provide. And I feel that I should have done that separation a long time ago. Like when I get home, just put my phone in silent, put it away, put it in charge or something, and just talk to my wife. How was your day? And to my son, I just, my son, I just go ahead and play with him. He was recently diagnosed with autism last year, so we give him a lot of extra attention, But we're just really blessed that he gets all the help that he needs from the doctors, and they tell us how to help him out and stuff like that. So outside of the shop, I'm just a big family person.
Interesting. I'm a father of 2 as well, so I seen you before you even had a baby. Like I knew GT there and I knew GT now, and it makes me happy a lot of the times that you're interacting with your family, especially when you're playing with your son and stuff like that. I think that brings the best of you as a man, as a father. You could be the baddest barber ever, but if, like you said, if you can't get home and just give them the time that they need, I feel like you're lacking on that. And then you cannot go and be the best version of yourself at the barbershop if you don't fulfill your life at home first.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that that's really, really important. The balance in between, the shop and being a dad, it's not easy. It's not easy because you want to make everything right. Like you said, you want to be a provider, but using the word providing, it doesn't only mean financially, bro. And I feel like that's really, really deep. Like you need to provide that knowledge, that good example for your son, because your son looks up to you. He looks up to you a lot, and to your wife, right? But most of all, as them being, you have a boy, right?
Yeah.
So in being a boy, you're his leader. He wants to be like that. He wants to be like that. Like eventually we want to be barbers or whatever, but most of all, you want him to be a good human being. And the only way to lead him is to set the example. So it's great that you leave work at work and home at home. It's crazy. I learned that from my dad. My dad always told me he would get home and be like, ¿Cómo están todos? ¿Todo está bien? ¿Qué se ocupa hacer aquí en la casa? We'll not even talk about work unless we will bring it up. Oh, what happened at work today? Dad, and he would tell me, la verdad, ahorita estoy feliz, no quiero hablar nada del trabajo.
Yeah,
ahorita
I'd be
estoy
like
feliz, no quiero saber nada del trabajo. En el trabajo yo me preocupo por esos problemas, y aquí cuando estoy en la casa quiero estar con ustedes porque es el único tiempo que tengo con ustedes.
Thanks, bro.
And it's this message, let's do something, let's work. GT has a full-on squad. I'm getting ready to prep my own full-on squad. We're connected with a lot of different people that can get you to where you want to go. It's just a matter of giving us a message. We're here for the community, for the barber industry. Let's keep this growing.
Hell yeah, man.
Let's collaborate.
Yeah.
So GT
fills me so much in the morning. Like it's just like, that feeling when you do the dopest haircut and you do the greatest content and you put it out and it's getting all that traction. That 10 times more, bro.
Yeah, bro.
It's like, I take my son, it's just like the happiness that it gives you when they see you and they're running up to you and stuff like that.
God.
It's like, you can't pay for that. You can't pay for that no matter what.
It's a type of love that is unmeasurable.
Yeah.
Like, it's like no other feeling, bro. For them to see you and then just run up to you, it's like, you forget about everything.
Yeah.
You forget that you're so tired. You forget that this and that happened. Like, bro, like.
Forget that the rent's overdue.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, bro, but definitely it's a very unmeasurable kind of love when you have a kid. So that's why it always motivates me to keep going. So
and let alone also the time with your partner, like your partner needs that time. Like they support us and they're behind the scenes and they're dealing with all our headaches and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, we need to still keep that spark alive. We need to still make sure that they are well taken care of because they're riding with us.
Yeah, bro.
They're riding with us through it all. And we just got to maintain them happy, whatever they need, because when we're not there, they're there for our child.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's awesome. I know we got Diego is going to soon be a father. Let's go. So
Congrats,
you're gonna
Diego.
learn all
You're
that.
gonna see
Diego,
what
you're
we-
gonna see what
you're
me
gonna
and
feel what
me
we're
and my
talking
boy
about.
are
I'm
talking
just
about. You
imagining
know,
everything right
Hey,
now.
bro, it's a dope
I'm
feeling,
not gonna
bro.
trust the school though when I drop him off. I'm gonna be like, oh. But yeah, no, it's a good thing, bro.
that's a beautiful conversation.
Yeah,
I'm always touched. You know.
Yeah, correct. And it's like I'm always gonna say this, like this podcast, bro. Like that's what it's about. It's about to let people know that we're more than barbers. That we're actually fathers. We're business owners, and we prioritize these things. We value family. We value our spouse. You know, because I right now that my wife is pregnant, I've been learning like the most important thing in my life right now after God is her, bro. It's not this podcast. It's not my clients. It's her, you know. So I'm learning that balance, but it's like it's a journey that I'm enjoying right now, and I'm pretty sure you guys are enjoying
Man.
enjoying it too. WGT, where do you see yourself like in the next 5 years? What should people be waiting for in the next upcoming years?
Well, good question, man. Well, for the next 5 years, I really want to, I really hope to expand Gtcutz. I really hope to expand it. I also want to continue to collaborate with other people, to continue growing the brand in a popular way. Also for any barbers that, you know, to continue to recruit barbers that not necessarily only from LA, but anybody who will want to have a great experience, great barbershop experience. I will really want to continue to work with them, maybe grow my family as well. And getting closer to God as well. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not a perfect person, but I do follow and worship my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
Yes, amen.
Amen to that. Amen to that. There's no better way to
couldn't
wrap
do-
this
I
up.
couldn't do
by-
it
Yeah,
without him,
and
you
it's
know?
like we wouldn't be able to do anything without him, you know. And so like you say that because sometimes when we envision ourselves in the next 5 years, we think about the house, we think about
Yeah.
the car, but I sit down and I meditate on where am I gonna be at in my relationship with God in 5 years, because that's gonna determine everything else, you know. Like I always say, God gives us wisdom, bro, and that's the most powerful thing that we could ever get
ask
as
for.
human. Yeah, grace and wisdom. When we have grace and wisdom, bro, everything else starts aligning. The doors start opening. We start living happily. You know, there's always gonna be obstacles, but as long as we have that foundation, we're gonna be anchored. You know, and there's nothing that's gonna be able to move us or deroute us. Like we're gonna have the vision and we're gonna stick to it, and we're gonna end up doing it. You know.
Exactly, man. Amen to that.
So I'm glad that you say that, bro. I'm happy for you. Before we wrap this up, we just want to give you your flowers, GT. I appreciate everything that you've done at the barbershop for me, for the people in there. I hope that you continue to be that young, happy, and passionate barber that you've been being this whole time that I've been at the barbershop, and that everything that you do, bro, and everything that you touch may flourish to 100%.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it.
We're gonna pass it up to KO to say his final words.
Same thing here, bro. Just I'm glad that I ran into you in the early of my career in barbering and stuff. You've been a great example. I look up to you on a lot of things that you do, great design work and all that. But most of all, like just for being so kind all the time. You know,
Thanks,
being really down to earth, bro. I feel like when I look into your eyes, I can see loyalty, I can see, you know, prosperity, and I can see just nothing but respect, bro. So flowers to you. Continue doing what you're doing. You're doing a great job at what you're doing. You have an awesome team, and I'm gonna pray to God that everything goes good with your son, with, you know, you expanding your family and you expanding your business, bro. So God bless you, your family, and everything around you, brother. And I hope everything goes
Same to
great
you
for
guys,
you.
man.
Before we
Sure.
leave, we have your camera here. You could say something. You could finish that thought.
yeah,
Finish
for sure,
that
for
thought.
sure.
That's your camera. Say your final words, but finish the thought that you were gonna say.
No, well, I was gonna give you guys your flowers. You know, first of all, congrats on your new shop that you're about to open. Bro, I
Yeah.
wish the best for you. If you ever need any kind of you know, somebody to talk to when it comes to a movement like that, you can, bro. You got my number. And Diego, congrats for this podcast.
Thank you, bro.
This is a really dope thing that you're doing, especially in this region of, you know, of United States. I mean, I know most podcasts
LA,
happen
yeah.
like in the East Coast, but this is the only one I know on the West Coast, and that's what's up. And you got a really good co-host in KO. KO is really good on the microphone. So congrats to both of you guys. I really wish the best for you guys. Thank you guys for having me again, and well, let's work. Let's keep working.
Go.
Stay passionate. Stay on top of whatever's going on in the barber industry, and don't give up. Don't let that lazy barber tell you, hey, like, I'm not gonna do all that extra stuff. Hey, keep going. Stay passionate, and just watch the fruits of your labor. Keep it going.
Let's go. This
Let's
was
go.
another episode of the DTB podcast. Make sure you check us out on YouTube and make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Thank you.